This is the Speak For Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. I'm your host, Jason McIntyre. It's a Monday after the tournament. Oh boy, what a weekend in sports. Time to recap the madness. Plus, we have an exclusive from Jay Glazer about Tom Brady's missing and now found Super Bowl jersey. Is Duke hatred irrational? How about this? Is ball's play finally overshadowing his father's mouth? And do you feel sympathy for an unemployed Colin Kaepernick? And lastly, we got to get into Tiger Woods. Do you believe Tiger Woods will ever make a comeback? Those answers and more in today's podcast. One more thing before we get going. Now that the NFL Combine is over and NFL free agency is winding down, it's time for fans to get ready for the draft. FS1 NFL insider Pete Schrager will release his 2-round mock draft on foxsports.com Tuesday morning. Catch Schrager on the Herd tomorrow, breaking it down with Colin, and then head over to the FS1 Facebook page for a draft deep dive live stream with Schrager. Peter's one of the most plugged-in reporters in the business. He's constantly talking to GMs, so it's easy. Let him make you smarter on the 2017 NFL Draft. Remember, his mock draft debuts tomorrow on foxsports.com. Be sure to check it out. Ready for Speak For Yourself? Cowherd and Whitlock, take it away.
Chris Carter, Eric Davis. Here we go. NFL, Jay Glazer of Fox Sports broke news on the Herd this morning, releasing exclusive video of a Mexican journalist named Mauricio Ortega, who authorities believe stole Tom Brady's jersey from the Patriots locker room following Super Bowl 51. Glazer also reported the FBI and NFL security have recovered the stolen jersey, along with Brady's Super Bowl 49 jersey and Von Miller's helmet and cleats from Super Bowl 50. Jason, your reaction to Glazer's report?
I think this explains why a lot of athletes and a lot of celebrities don't like autograph seekers and collectors and memorabilia people. It is a shady, shady industry, and this guy is now going to be the poster child for this shady industry and cause more distrust and dislike towards this group. Again, the shadiness of this industry, why is O.J. Simpson in jail? Memorabilia collectors that he was running around with, common criminals.
Years ago, somebody offered me ownership in a small business, and it was a memorabilia business. And I'm like, he thought I would really be interested. I said, dude, other than a sports bar, there is nothing I want to get involved in less than dealing with drunks or a criminal element. The sports memorabilia business has a long history of counterfeit, theft. I mean, when I saw this story, I'm like, this is where we're at now. Like, this is globally where we're at. Because now all these leagues want to be global leagues. This is where we're at.
Well, I just finally hope that I can get mine back. Because winning the Super Bowl, my jersey disappeared. I thought Tim McDonald got it. For all these years, I've been thinking Tim, I'm sorry. No, I'm serious. All these years, I thought Tim got my jersey because he opened up a sports bar and he had a bunch of jerseys and memorabilia around. And I've been messing with Tim McDonald, I've been messing with you for years. Can I get the FBI on finding my jersey? Because I paid for the search for Brady's jersey, right? The FBI is on this. I understand, historically, that jersey, and maybe it's in the Hall of Fame, one thing, but it is.
But you like, come on.
It's a T-shirt, man. It's a shirt. Come on, man. I'm like, yes, we put a lot into that.
But there's a lot of money in memorabilia, and it's a shady
yes, it is.
world. But to me, to have someone, even, because what I don't like is, okay, if he stole something, he did something like that, what else could he have done? Like, he could have harmed a player. He just walked right in.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm really concerned. I used to be in the security business. The overall security and the safety of the players.
You're a bouncer?
Look, on a serious note, though, Eric, look at the video of Tom Brady in the locker room. He's really bothered by this. This jersey matters to him.
Did anyone see it? Did you see it? B, did someone take my jersey? I put it in my bag. I absolutely 100% put it in my bag. I put it in here.
Just put someone at the door and check every one of these meetings.
No, but it was just... If anyone sees eBay,
this also begs the question, and I I won't make any friends in the media, but why are we allowing anybody other than players and trainers in a locker room? Cannot the media request players? Why in the world, in this day and age, with all the electronics, should we be in a locker room?
I like the staff member, though. He was all about it. Hey, man, I know about an investigation. They did this to us not too long ago. Hey, man, lock the door. Let's get everyone in the room. Like, they knew it was in the room.
Well, it had to be. You couldn't walk in that room. I mean, when it first broke, my takeaway was it was somebody that nobody suspected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't an odd guy in an orange suit that jumps. It was
someone with credentials. That's the only way you could get into the locker room.
But I mean,
it's hard to get into.
It's like Chris says. When you look at this stuff, my takeaway is the guy jumps the fence at the White House, 17 minutes. Like step up security, and why are we letting people into these spaces?
My takeaway is I finally got a shot at getting my jersey back. That's my takeaway. I need my jersey.
We're joined today by Hall of Famer Chris Carter and Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Let's start with the NCAA tournament, where the team Vegas picked to win it all, Duke, got stunned by 7-seed South Carolina yesterday. Hell yeah! After the loss, the internet erupted with joy about college basketball's most hated team getting bounced so early. Colin, people clearly love to hate Duke. I certainly do. But is their hatred irrational?
Yeah, because Duke stands for separation economically, and we all hate what we fear. And so Kansas stands for good basketball, and Carolina stands for good basketball, and so does Kansas and Syracuse. Duke stands for economic privilege. And that's
It does?
Yes, it stands for success. They provide us with governors, senators, surgeons.
They're the only school that does that?
When I say Kentucky basketball, you don't think about Nobel Prize winners. You don't think about surgeons when I say Kansas.
Are they Harvard or Yale? I mean, who are they? Are they even Stanford?
I would say yes, yes, yes. I think Duke stands for...
And that's why I hate them.
I think there's a certain class of dignity that intimidates some.
Oh, my God. Do you know any Duke grads?
I do, several.
My best friend in Kansas City, someone I love like an uncle, is a Duke grad. You know what he is?
What?
He's smug. He's very smug. He's very privileged. He started out like me at the bottom, but now he's a rich guy and he's smug and he's got that Duke arrogance, and I don't like it, and people don't like it. And so they're a dynasty. It's fun to hate a dynasty.
And that's why people don't like him, because everyone there is not privileged. Luke Kennard, I know his family, know his dad, know his uncles. He grew up in Middletown, Ohio. That's where I'm from. Old steel mill town. People have lost their jobs. He's the second leading scorer in the state of Ohio. He was National Player of the Year a couple years ago. He decided he wanted to go to Duke.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee his family, they probably grew up Indiana fans, Louisville fans, or Kentucky fans in that area.
Real school.
And he ended up going to Duke, and now he's batched in with the rest of the kids. So it's just because the hatred on the school and the image.
Did you see the little meme on the internet about him?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, where's my Porsche?
Yeah,
he comes from a middle class.
He should have went to a real school.
No, by the way,
He did go to a real school.
Yeah, where you
That's
going
what
somewhere
they-
you can get
Well,
covered.
that- What he said, it produces senators, congressmen. That's a real school. They have student athletes there. Now, I'm not defending Duke. I get why people hate him. Christian Laettner stepping on people from Kentucky.
They're smug.
Grayson Allen kicking people. But a lot of it's jealousy, too. Because if the average hater of Duke would love to be in their position. That's the thing.
we all hate the best-looking girl. She asked us
Exactly.
out. We cancel all the other dates.
I'm on the record. If I had kids, I'd send them to Duke.
Yeah, Coach K sends you a letter.
You want them to be
So you
smug
don't- you
like
don't-
your uncle
you don't-
who used to like you before your show.
You don't hate Duke.
I enjoyed every bit of Frank Martin and South Carolina putting it to Duke. The referees were trying to give Duke the game at the end with those bogus charge calls at the end. Yeah, Duke is privileged. And listen, I respect Coach K. Their players are great. Grant Hill's one of the best human beings
And
I've
you
ever
would
met
send
as an
your
athlete.
kids there.
And I would, but I love seeing Duke get it handed to
Well,
them.
the question is the Duke hatred irrational? You are generally rational. In this, you're acknowledging you're irrational. You'd send your kids there, but you hate them. That's
When you have a
irrational.
dynasty,
You're
that's the way it
jealous.
is.
That's what it is.
Same way people in New England. People hate New England. Why? Because they win.
They would go there in a
Duke
heartbeat.
is different.
Didn't Randy
Why-
Moss go
Man,
there
I'll
in a
take this
heartbeat?
mic off if he called. Brady called. What? I gotta go, man. I got to go.
You know what you would like even more, though?
if they had made the Final Four and then got beat. That's the thing.
No.
Oh, really?
Ooh. No.
See, the tournament is better.
Because there's a sense of accomplishment if they get there.
Or even the Elite
This
Eight.
is so
The
much
tournament
better.
is better the longer they're in it. I'm not saying they have to win it, but you like it more
By the
because
way,
they're in it because you love to hate them.
Who hates Duke the most? Kentucky. Why? Because they're threatened by him. Just like Duke represents a fear of separation economically. The number one haters of Duke are the number one rival of Duke.
North Carolina hates Duke the most.
Yeah, and if you like Carolina.
Number two, and just keeping it all the way 100, black basketball fans are not fans of Duke. There is a slight racial component to this, or maybe even for some people more than slight.
Also, Jason, what other team can get bounced in the second round and they not talk about the coach? Because that's an indictment on him. With the type of talent he has, they should be in the Sweet 16 every year.
But he's so accomplished. I
But
get
so-
it.
the team
Look,
underperformed.
nobody's perfect.
If
It's
you
just
watch
like
them.
Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich gets credit. Bill Belichick, they won, 2 Super Bowls in the last 10 years? When he wasn't winning them, nobody was killing him because
Yeah, but he
so
did have an
accomplished.
undefeated season in there, and another time he got upset,
Listen,
too.
I'm friends with Frank Martin, so I have a bias. Frank Martin just took a program from scratch that was nothing. And with some dude, Sandors Thornwell
ball
or whatever.
coach,
No, he's a good ball player.
You gonna put him above Coach K?
No, but I'm just saying, he just took Duke out with all their little future pro players. It was a joy to watch. He outcoached Coach K yesterday.
Those kids out tough.
And by the way,
Their
why
athleticism,
doesn't
their toughness was
why doesn't
fresh.
anybody hate South Carolina basketball? Because they don't fear them. Last night we saw one of the best performances in the tourney so far. Lonzo Ball is the truth. He had led UCLA to a comeback win over Cincinnati. Boy, he's good. Ball showed why his dad, LeVar, has been constantly hyping him up. Hitting back-to-back threes, sparking a run that put UCLA, fun to watch, up for good. Jason, is Lonzo's play finally overshadowing his dad's mouth?
It's close. It's not overshadowing it. It's justifying his dad's mouth. I don't pay much attention to the regular season. I sat and watched this last night. The kid plays a beautiful, smooth, effortless.
Yeah.
He's a skinny, this is what I'm telling you, he's a skinny LeBron James. If LeBron James weighed 190 pounds, and I think LeBron James wishes he did, he'd love to play the way this kid does. Kid, vision and passing, he can shoot. He'll be able to, everything LeBron wants to do, because when he gets to the pros, he'll be able to pass up the game-winning shot because it's Lonzo Ball and no one will have
and he's
those
a point guard,
expectations.
too.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, LeBron would love to be this kid. I liked everything about this kid.
Slow down
really,
a little
I
bit.
really.
Slow down a little bit.
I'm not saying he's
LeBron
gonna be
would love
better.
To be this
Yes.
kid.
Want to play
I
the
think
way
he's
that he
happy
used to play.
being who he is, the best player in the world. All right.
Yeah, I watched LeBron play last night in Staples, and LeBron is pretty comfortable being himself.
Thank you.
Like he's very, very
But
comfortable.
college basketball, let's be honest, you could argue that people like Jay Billis are more popular than the players. That Dick Vitale, that Coach K. NBA is about the players. College basketball is about the coaches and the announcers.
The programs.
And the programs and the brands. So to me, Lonzo Ball is not only the best player in this tournament, he's just the most interesting.
But because of his dad.
Oh, well, no, I think because of his game.
Yeah. His game is great, but will we be talking about him like this if it weren't for
Well,
his
it's
dad?
all, I think it's fair, it's all mixed in. When I watched him last night, he gets me to a TV. When Tiger Woods was at the top of his game, he changed my viewing habits. Sunday at 4, I was inside. I wasn't prepping I was inside.
Right.
Lonzo Ball all weekend, I'm like, when's Lonzo on? It wasn't UCLA. It wasn't basketball.
I'm gonna throw another name, and I'm sorry, Chris.
ahead.
I haven't felt this way about a college kid since Magic Johnson. I just enjoyed.
You're in a good mood, man.
I enjoyed
Compared to LeBron James
Goodness gracious.
and Magic
Well, how good
Johnson
is
in
he?
2
Let's watch
minutes.
out before he drop another name on us. Goodness gracious.
How good is he?
He's very good.
You've seen him in
And-
person.
Yes, I've seen him play several times this year at UCLA. And Chris and I, we went to a game, and the one thing that he does that people don't get credit for as a point guard, in today's generation, is dribble, handle, Kyrie.
Thank you.
He gets the ball, and within 2 or 3 dribbles, if there's a man up the court, 3/4 way up the court, he advances the ball, and he plays with a temperament that we don't see. But what we forget about UCLA with this powerhouse UCLA, hey man, they won 15 games last year until they got this kid. So that's the part about him that's really, really special. He can change your franchise. He can change your program. And it just happens to come with a dad who's got a lot of confidence in him. And rightfully so.
No, I'm totally in agreement. If I'm the Lakers, this is the guy I want. I bet you, to your point, Magic Johnson is watching him saying, man, I see a lot of me in him. You know, if I'm Minnesota, I'm trading Zach LaVine and trying to get up to that top pick. Because you put him with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, and they're going to be great. Now, proof to the answer to this question. Remember a week or so ago, there was a meme out about the quote LeVar said on my podcast in the Zone that, you know, LeBron got sons, Magic got sons, Michael got sons, they all whack, okay? he mentioned Shaq, too. Shaq called me, like, is that true? And showed me the meme, and he was highly upset. And then I told him, well, he didn't really say about your kid. He really said your kid's just gonna have trouble living up to you. So Shaq calmed down. Shaq texted me today saying, his son is excellent. I'm proud of him. He plays the game the right way. He's a joy to watch. So Shaq has stopped thinking about the dad and started thinking about the kid.
Great point.
Also, think about this.
Story.
The Lakers did something this weekend. They moved D'Angelo Russell to the 2. Yeah. Now think about that. That's their point guard. Mm-hmm. They moved him to the 2.
Yes.
Why did they do that?
This kid's the real deal.
I think you know what, Chris? Last year we fell in love with Ben Simmons, and everybody said he can't shoot, and I'm hearing the same thing.
He can shoot.
No.
But my point is,
it's Jim Furyk in
the
golf.
form is
all right.
Yeah.
Jim Furyk is outside, but when he goes to hit the ball, it's just like Tiger Woods and the rest of the pro. And when you see on his release, it might start over here, but when it gets to the top of it, it's like Durant. It's over his left eye, and he can still shoot it.
I just think Ben Simmons and Lonzo Ball, when you watch them play, there is an it. It is so graceful and so effortless. I'm not a pro scout, but when I watch Ben Simmons and Lonzo, I'm like, whatever that is.
Yeah, they're natural.
They're total natural playmakers.
Y'all have an advantage over me because, again, Ben Simmons didn't make the tournament, so I don't know nothing about him. I know he's in the NBA, top pick, whatever. This kid here.
I have to take you out to UCLA every once in a while, man. Get on.
You live on 10 minutes from
man.
it.
LeVar Ball. I got to tip my hat to the man. He knows what he's talking about. All right, welcome back. Chris Carter is back with us, and we're joined now by Super Bowl champion Eric Davis. Let's move to San Francisco, where Colin Kaepernick has yet to sign with a new team since opting out of his 49ers contract earlier this month, prompting Kaepernick defender Spike Lee to go off on Instagram, writing, quote, "Just had brunch with my brother Colin Kaepernick. How is it that there are 32 NFL teams and Cap's still a free agent? WTF. Smells mad fishy to me. Stinks to high heavens." Colin, do you feel sympathy for Kaepernick because he's still unemployed?
No, I generally feel sympathy for people who don't get opportunities. I think the saddest thing in the world is a kid grows up, he doesn't have opportunities, he never gets to show his stuff. But Johnny Manziel had his opportunity, blew it. Tebow had his, wore people out, wasn't good enough. Ryan Leaf, RG3, Cap, they all had opportunities. I never really feel sadness for you were paid a lot, you were on TV, you had multiple good coaches. Harbaugh and Chip Kelly were really good offensive coaches, and you sort of disintegrated. And it's like, all right, you had your shot, but there's a draft full of a bunch of other quarterbacks. And that's kind of, I look at Kaepernick a little bit like I look at Tim Tebow, and I was very critical of Tim Tebow. If you're a backup talent, and I kind of see Kaepernick as a backup talent, he's not a great pocket passer, never had a curveball, kind of throws a fastball. You're kind of a backup. I always thought Manziel backup. I kind of think Ryan Leaf, frankly, was a backup athletically. You had your shot, you didn't make most of it, and let's get ready for Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson. I'm ready for the next guy.
Give them a chance.
I have sympathy for Kaepernick, and that'll shock people. I've been highly critical of Colin Kaepernick. I have sympathy for this reason. I understood early on, this dude is dealing with some identity issues. He's mixed race, he's raised by a white family. We're in this era where everything is spun racially, and Twitter wants you to go out and prove your blackness. And so people have gotten in Kaepernick's ear and talked him in some things that weren't in his best long-term interest. I look at a guy like Spike Lee, a celebrity of immense importance in the black community. Instead of him telling Kaepernick the truth, hey, man, you screwed up here. You're a victim, Colin, and the NFL is racist, and you should have a job. Well, if the NFL was racist, how did he get the job in the first place? How did he get the $100 million in the first place? So if it had to be racist then, and now what it is, it's a league that says you're a backup quarterback.
Yes.
And I don't want the drama the same way I didn't want Tim Tebow's drama, who was white and got run out of the league.
And won a playoff game, and the nation loved him and sold tickets, and I was anti-Tebow.
Bad influence over Kaepernick. I feel sorry for him.
Well, as for the man, I'm with you on that, feeling sorry for him. For the football player, jobs in the NFL are not won or lost. Opportunities are given and taken. He was given an opportunity to be out there on the field. With everything else that was going on, he was given an opportunity to be on the field and then perform. He won one game. Okay? I don't feel sorry for Blaine Gabbert. I don't feel sorry for the Colt McCoys. I don't feel if you can't play, you can't play. That's what happens in the league. You've had an opportunity. You've had a few years to be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and your skill set hasn't gotten to a certain level. And this is the thing about it. There are only two positions on the field where you really don't make the owner money. Because if I'm paying Chris Carter $1 million to catch footballs, he's probably making me $10, $15 million. Because of what I can do as far as sponsorship and all the different things, the value of my team, putting butts in the seats, those type things. But the backup quarterback, and that's what Colin has shown, the backup quarterback and that third-string quarterback, they don't really make you money. No one's showing up for them. They're taking money. So now when I bring on the rest of the show right now, it could cost me more money. So you're looking at it from an ownership standpoint, saying, I don't know if I want to deal with this when the guy has shown that he can't play to the level, because it's not about as good as. Right now, because it's not a better than. It's is he as good as the guys that can win championships? That's how you got to look at Cap right now.
Ed, you're responsible for your own ability, E. Like the coaches, they'll give you a game plan. They'll give you off-season training regimen, and they'll give you some things to try to help you get better. But it's up to you to try to look at your game, analyze your game, pick apart the parts that you really need to get better at, and try to come back as a better player. That's what you try to do every year in the offseason. Now, Kaepernick, the last 3 years, has not came back a better player.
Yeah.
So he had an opportunity. In the NFL, the numbers have been the same. The length of career, 3.4 years, been that way for like 30 years. How long did Tim Tebow play? He played 3 seasons. His 4th season when he started to have trouble. Cap he's had his 4 years. Now, why would I invest another 4 years where I can move on to Mitch? I can move on to Deshaun. I could put that energy into other players. And also, by the way, you know something? Before Kaepernick started the protest, that's the only time he was close to his teammates. When his teammates came to his rescue during the protest, because him and his teammates weren't close before that.
That's right. That's a really good point. There's 2 Kaepernicks. There's pre-knee, post-knee. If you remember pre-knee, Jay Glazer had a report that in the locker room, he had isolated himself.
Yes.
And the organization was concerned that he didn't have a quarterback personality. He was aloof. So we forget that pre-knee, there were some drip, drip, drip. There were some signs of erosion as the player and as a leader.
And I've also heard that, he didn't have the receivers. He didn't have the supporting cast around him. Well, he had Anquan Bolden there for a while. Q's a pretty good receiver. He had Torrey Smith, and you can say that these guys weren't those names, but when they played for Flacco, those are the guys that played wide receiver that beat him in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
They were pretty good players with other
Stafford
quarterbacks.
enjoyed Anquan this year in Detroit.
So I'm saying he has to produce when he gets his opportunities.
I listened to you this morning. Let's try to wrap on this. Listen, I heard people talking about his resume. The NFL is not a look behind you league. It's a look ahead. If it was just about, his resume is better than Mike Glennon, well, Roger Staubach's resume is better than Mike Glennon. And nobody wants Roger Staubach because he can't play anymore. And the league has decided Cap can't play. All right, welcome back. Chris Carter is back with us, and we're joined now by the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to Tiger Woods, whose attempted comeback hit a major snag last month with another back injury sidelining him indefinitely. Tiger went on Good Morning America today and discussed his chance of playing in this year's Masters.
I'm trying everything I can to be able to get back and play. I love that event. It's meant so much to me in my life. It was the first major that I ever played back in '95. It has so much history and meaning to me that I love to get back.
Colin, do you think Tiger will ever come back?
He looks old, doesn't he?
Real old.
I mean, golf's a leisurely sport. I mean, honestly, my first takeaway is he's not aged particularly well, looks a little beat up, looks a little tired. Not sure if he, I mean, that's my takeaway. He looks tired.
A picture sometimes is worth 10,000 words, not just 1,000. And as a huge Tiger Woods fan, other than Magic Johnson, my second favorite athlete, most enjoyment, I saw the pictures, the receding hairline, the bags under the eyes. Tiger's like 40, 41, right? He looks damn near 50, 51. And he looks mentally defeated, exhausted. He's been in the spotlight for too long in a negative fashion.
Well, he was the biggest star. Remember, LeBron wasn't a star when he popped. He was the biggest star. I mean, he literally reshaped the PGA. He quit. They lost half of their ratings. Only guy that's ever done that, Michael Jordan. I mean, he was in the center of the universe. Maybe he is exhausted. Maybe he was beat up.
He needs someone like we have Dominique, someone to spray a little smoke, like a little paint so the whole world won't know what we ain't. Like, she worked on your hair, and you got a hat on. Like, I mean, you're on TV. Like, when you're trying to promote your book and you're also trying to promote your look.
And your health.
And, you know, to Tiger, I'm a huge Tiger fan. I've gone to the Masters probably 13 of the last 15 years. Probably will go this year to the Masters, especially if he's going to be there. I believe Tiger will win one major. He'll win one major in the next 5 years.
Why?
He will put together 4 days over the next 5 years, and he will win one of those tournaments. All right? He won't play in the normal 20 to 26 events like he normally has because of his health, but I believe, and with golfers, all you have to do is put it together for 4 days. And he could be mediocre on those days. If he shoots 70 on those days and shoots 67.
How about the senior tour?
Okay, all right. Just watch and see. One day we'll be on TV in the next 5 years, and he'll win another major to get to number 15, and you'll be like, okay, Chris Carter said.
It's funny he says that because I had a golf writer come on my radio show 1 year ago and says if Tiger Woods can win a Bob Hope Classic, it would be one of the shining moments of his career. That's how beat up he is, physically, mentally. We're talking about a Bob Hope Classic. Not a major.
Hasn't won since 2013.
2013.
Okay.
I think we're getting to a point where sometimes I think in our lives we root for something to happen, and I think we're rooting for what we want to happen because I think we all kind of felt. I mean, I love Phil Mickelson, but I was always a Magic guy over a Bird guy, and I was more of a Woods guy, Tiger guy over a Mickelson guy. Love both, but Phil Mickelson looked like a lot of golfers I'd seen. Tiger was different. He changed the universe.
Yes. He's the greatest athlete to ever play golf until Justin Johnson. Now, Dustin Johnson is a better athlete than Tiger Woods. But the world of golf had never seen an athlete like Tiger Woods. He was explosive through the ball, explosive through his body. That's why he had explosive injuries. You don't see golfers tear their Achilles, blow out their ACL. No, because he's an explosive athlete, and he trained like it. And rumor would have it, is there some PED involved? Like, has he gone so hard at it, training with the PEDs, that it's come back to haunt him?
And don't forget training with the Navy SEAls as well. He had
that was a horrific
he wants to be a
injury
Navy
there.
SEAL.
Go back to the beginning of your website. How big was Tiger?
Oh, he was enormous, massive. He was an automatic click driver. And then, of course, the driveway incident happens, and his life changes forever. I mean, the perception of Tiger will never be the same.
Tiger, to me, reminds me of some of the things we've talked about with the Golden State Warriors in terms of some people aren't built for adversity. And when the adversity comes, they don't know how to recover. And sometimes when you look at the great all-time people, champions in sports, they overcame a lot of adversity just growing up in childhood. And so when they get some in athletics, it's nothing to them.
Wait, that's the Warriors with the best record in the NBA?
That Warriors team. We'll see. That's the Warriors that gave up a 3-1 lead to LeBron.
But to your point, Tiger maybe isn't built for this. He was built for the ascension. He wasn't built for the drop and re-ascension.
No, he's not at all.
This is the Speak For Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. I'm your host, Jason McIntyre. This Duke hatred stuff, listen, this goes back to that bathroom law. Remember, the games were moved out of North Carolina because of the bathroom law to South Carolina. So instead of Duke playing in Greensboro, which is a nice 45-minute drive from campus, right? Duke would have had the home crowd. They had to go to South Carolina, where South Carolina had a home crowd. So everybody's rooting against Duke and for South Carolina. It was a perfect storm. Personally, I think the tournament's upset that they don't have Duke. Again, the East Regionals at Madison Square Garden, and you've got Baylor against South Carolina when you could have had Duke up there. Come on. This irrational Duke hatred's got to go, folks. They're good for college basketball. Thanks again to the loyal listeners. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.